Hello boys and girls. Today we are going to draw our 28 musical symbols that we are responsible for this year. So if you would take your symbols cards that you wrote each of the names of the symbols on the front, and today we are going to be drawing the symbol on the back of those cards. We are going to start with the treble clef. Remember, the treble clef is made up of one line and then just a series of half circles. So to draw the treble clef, you will start with your first line, and then we're going to bounce back and forth from the right side to the left side. We're going to put our first half circle on the right side, kind of looks like a tall P. Then start where you finished, come back to the left side, a bigger half circle, almost to the bottom of the line, but not quite. Start where you finished again. This time we're going up on the right side in a smaller half circle. Then you're going to start where you stopped, back on the left side. We're going to make a smaller half circle coming down, which creates a circle inside of a circle, and they cannot touch. And then all that is left to do is on the right side, we're just going to put a tail on that treble clef. Boys and girls, you do not want to do spirals in the middle. If you do, it is no longer a treble clef. A treble clef is ended with just the simple tail. Moving on, we have the bass clef. The treble clef takes care of the high pitches. The bass clef takes care of the low pitches. With the bass clef, we start with a colored in note head, almost like a quarter note note head. Then we're going to start on the outside, on this side of this circle. We're going to come around that kind of note head, and it's like making half of a heart. Then you're going to finish up by putting a dot a little bit above this main dot, and a dot just a little bit below. When you're drawing the bass clef, this beginning note head, it kind of looks like a note head, is actually on line 4. And so then your first dot is on space 4, and this other dot is then in space 3. So you have a line going through there. For your bar line card, you will need to draw the staff, 5 lines, 4 spaces. Always count your lines to make sure you have 5, not 4 or 6. Now that is your staff. For a bar line, we just simply put a line from line 5 down to line 1. Boys and girls, your bar line does not go below or above the staff, so make sure your bar lines do not do that. Next we come to the staff. Very simple again. You're simply drawing 5 lines, and those 5 lines create our 4 spaces. The next card is the time signature. The time signature, there are various time signatures. For our flashcards, we just use 2 different time signatures. We use 4, 4, and we use 3, 4. Boys and girls, your time signature is not a fraction. You do not want to put a line between the middle of them. You simply write 4, 4, 3, 4 without any dividing line. Your next card is the double bar line. On the double bar line, again, we must start by drawing the musical staff, 5 lines, 4 spaces. Do the best you can to make them straight. And then the double bar line is at the end of the music. It's the part that says, stop, don't go any further. To start the double bar line, we simply put a bar line at the end and make it a little thicker. And I'm going to color that in. You don't want to make a large block or a scribble mess. We always want our music looking beautiful. And then double, the word double means 2. So I have a thick bar line, but I need the double of it, which would be the thin bar line in front. Again, our bar lines do not go above or below the staff. Next we come to the repeat sign. The repeat sign, again, we draw the staff. It is very much like your double bar line. So I have my 5 lines. I'm going to draw my double bar line, so the thick bar line, color it in. The thin bar line in front of it, But what makes it the repeat sign is that there are 2 dots. 1 in space 2, right in the middle, and then 1 in space 3. Now, we also draw the repeat sign's buddy. So there's 2 ways of using a repeat sign. If you see a repeat sign, you go back, you find his buddy, and then you repeat everything between the 2 signs. If there isn't a buddy, then you go back all the way to the beginning. So we're gonna go ahead and put that buddy right here. The buddy's always looking at the repeat sign. So you draw your thicker bar line at the beginning, and then the thin line in front, a dot in space 3, and a dot in space 2. So in this case, we would get to this repeat sign, and we would go back to the buddy and repeat everything in between. Our next card is the measure. Again, we're drawing the musical staff, 5 lines, 4 spaces. Now, a measure is the area between 2 bar lines. So we draw a bar line here, again, starting at line 5 down to line 1. And then I put another bar line right here, starting at line 5, going to line 1. What the measure is this area in between the 2 bar lines, where we would put our rhythms and our pitches. Next, we come to our sharp. A sharp, boys and girls, looks just like a tic-tac-toe sign with a bit of a slant. What a sharp does is it will take a pitch and raise it just half a step. So you simply draw your sharp like that. A way to remember the sharp, one way, is that it has 8 sharp points on it. The flat is another way of affecting your pitch. A flat is going to take your pitch and flatten it and make it half a step lower. So with a flat, you should start with a little line, and then I'm just going to put half of a heart on that little line, and that is a flat. Then we come to our natural sign. Our natural will take any pitch that has been flatted or sharped, and it returns it to its natural pitch. So the natural sign is simply like an L, and then you put a 7 on the top. So if we had A flat, and then the next pitch was an A, if you put a natural sign in front of it, instead of being A flat, it's going to go back to its natural pitch of A. Now, the next card we come to is your dal segno. This one is a bit tricky to draw. You start out with just a fancy S. Then we're going to draw a diagonal line across that S. And then finally, we just add our dots. So there's a dot here and a dot over here. A lot of you have learned this as the sign, and that's perfectly fine. You're gonna go back to the sign, well, this sign right here, when you see DS in your music. So, dal segno. Then we come to our coda. Our coda is an alternate ending. And so the sign we're looking for just looks like a big bullseye. So you draw a circle, and then we're just gonna put a cross right in the middle. Your fermata is our next card. A lot of you have learned it as the bird's eye. That is another acceptable term or name for this sign. But the bird's eye just simply looks like a little hill. And then right here, this is where it gets the bird's eye name, is a dot in the middle. That's always fun for directors because we're able to hold you as long as we want to until we finally cut you off. So that is your fermata. Your next card is the breath mark. The breath mark actually appears above the musical staff, and it tells you where it is acceptable to take a breath after a phrase or before a quite long phrase. So your breath mark actually just looks like a little apostrophe. And it's very small, and it'll be written right above your musical staff. Next is your tie. your tie, again, we're gonna need to draw the musical staff in order to do the tie because it deals with pitches. And if we just put some pitches out there, floating around in the air, we don't know really where they are on that musical staff, and we have to know where they are in order to create the tie. The tie is simply two pitches or more that are on the same pitch, and you tie them together. And so your tie is actually talking about the number of beats that you are tying together. So for our card, we'll just simply put a note head. We'll do quarter notes on F. And since it's a tie, my next one has to be on F because a tie, same pitches, because what we're looking at are our beats. How many beats are we tying together? So right now we've not even drawn the tie yet. We've just got it set up. The tie is actually just a smiley face right there below. And so that is your tie. It is tying these two notes. Instead of me singing F for one beat or playing F for one beat, now I have to play F for two beats and hold it out, or sing it for two beats. The next card is our slur. Can easily be mixed up with the tie. Again, we have to draw the staff because we're dealing with pitches. The slur is where you take two or more pitches and you just sing them without any break or interruption in the flow of your voice. So a slur is talking about the pitch. A tie is talking about how many beats you're going to sustain the pitch that is tied together. So on our slur, we can just do a couple simple pitches, one on F, C, A, and then why don't we end on F again? Notice, boys and girls, that I put the stem going down on the left with the C because it is in space 3. Line 3 is our dividing point, whether our stems will go up on the right or down on the left. But again, we've not drawn our slur yet. We have our staff, we have our multiple pitches. Our slur is the same as the tie. It is a smiley face that goes underneath. But again, the difference, your tie deals with how many beats you're holding a pitch. Your slur is that you are going to sing this, changing pitches without a break in between. Next we come to mezzo forte, and it is pronounced mezzo. It's spelled M-E-Z-Z-O, mezzo, but it is pronounced mezzo forte. This is a dynamic marking how loud or how soft you are going to play your music. Mezzo means medium, forte means loud. So in this case, our composer would want us to be playing our music or singing our music medium loud. The symbol for mezzo forte is a simple M, F. So when you see that marking below your musical staff as you're singing or playing your music, you would want to sing or play medium loud. Next we have forte. Forte means loud. Again, that's going to be found under your staff as a direction of sound, and it's simply your F. Then we come to fortissimo. Fortissimo is very loud. It again will be found under the staff to let you know what dynamic you should be playing. Fortissimo is simply two Fs. Now we come to the other side, I guess, of the spectrum, you could say, and we come to mezzo piano. Mezzo again, meaning medium. Piano means soft. So we would play or sing medium soft. Your symbol is M, P. Then we come to piano. Piano just means soft. It's a simple P. And finally, pianissimo means very soft. And I know you've guessed it, it is P, P. So these are our dynamic markings, and we will find them underneath the musical staff, giving us direction on how loud or soft we should play or sing our music. Then we come to our next card, crescendo. Crescendo is also talking about how loud or soft you're playing, but it is a growing of sound or a withdrawing of sound. So crescendo means to get louder. So your sign for crescendo, your symbol, looks like that. It starts out soft, and you can see it is growing and the sound is getting louder. We come then to decrescendo, de, and then you see the word crescendo in there. The opposite of crescendo would be getting softer, decrescendo. So our sign looks like this. It starts loud and it gets softer. So our music is loud and it gets softer. It is decrescendoing. Both of these are also found below the musical staff. Then we come to some cards that are ways of emphasizing a pitch. So we have marcato. Marcato is drawn. We'll use quarter notes for all of these examples. Fill in the head, the note head. We are going to put our stem going down on the left. So far we've drawn a quarter note. But for the marcato, it is a line that goes above the note head. Marcato does not make the note longer than its natural amount. A quarter note is worth 1 beat. But it does say to make sure you have full sound from the very beginning of that beat all the way to the very end. We want it as long a sound as we can. Staccato, again, we're going to start off with our quarter note, color in that note head. Stem going down on the left. Staccato means that we are going to clip each of our pitches. And so for the staccato, that is a simple dot that is above the note head. And so now we're just going to, if it was 4 quarter notes in a row, it would simply be 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to clip each one of those. Whereas with the marcato, I would go 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm making each one as long as it possibly can be. And then finally we come to our accent. Another way of emphasizing a pitch, so let's draw our quarter note. Stem going down on the left. And then your accent actually looks like a decrescendo sign, but it's very small and it's going to be above your note head. And you're just going to give a punch to it. One of our famous examples is in My Favorite Things from Sound of Music. When the dog bites, when the bee stings, that is an accent. So we're just giving a bit of an oomph to the pitch, wherever that accent is above. So boys and girls, these are your 28 musical symbols that we are responsible for, knowing their names and how to draw their sign. This is a video, so feel free to pause at any moment or even back up a bit if you need to take some time in drawing these. Have a great day and enjoy your music.